I'd like to call this meeting to order on Monday, March 23rd, 2015. Clerk Ferneck, if you could please call the roll for us tonight.
Trustee Aiello. Trustee Bulkus.
Here.
Trustee Taglia.
Here.
Trustee Case.
Here.
Trustee Wagner.
Here.
President Bullwinkle.
Here. Can all please rise for the pledge? I will lead us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Y'all can remain standing for one more second and ask Trustee Wagner to lead us in prayer tonight.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions that might affect the residents, staff, businesses, surrounding communities, and all those that enter the village of Villa Park. And continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Okay. For those of you with us today, we do have an agenda. If you haven't grabbed an agenda already, that's in the bracket there on the door coming into Village Hall. So please help yourself if you don't have one already. Okay, item number 3 on the Committee of the Whole agenda is amendments of the COW agenda. Anybody on the board have any amendments for COW? Okay. Seeing none, we're going to move on to item number 4 on the Committee of the Whole. We're going to recognize our Villa Park Explorer post. So with that, I see our Villa Park Police Chief Bob Pavlicek approaching the podium. I'm going to toss it over to you.
Thank you, President Bullwinkle, board members, residents. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you on behalf of what I like to think is an underappreciated group within the police department. That's the Law Enforcement Explorers. And if you didn't know, we have an Explorer post in Villa Park. Had it since the early 80s. The current supervisors are Officer Tim Walsh, Officer Eric Heyman, both former explorers themselves. Law Enforcement Exploring provides educational training opportunities for young adults on the purposes, missions, and objectives of law enforcement. The program provides career orientation experiences, leadership opportunities, and community service activities. The primary goals of the program are to help young adults choose a path within the law enforcement community and to challenge them become more responsible citizens in their communities and their nation. Across the country, there are over 33,000, bless you, young men and women involved in law enforcement exploring. Villa Park is no different than that. I want to recognize tonight a couple of explorers that have left us, and they leave us because they got too old. The guidelines of the program, it sounds like an age discrimination thing. You guys have been age discriminated at age 21. So the guides of the program, this originally came under the umbrella of Boy Scouts of America. I think it's self-sufficient, stands alone right now, but it still has a connection to the Boy Scouts and involves young men and women involved interest in law enforcement from 6th grade to age 20 years old. So that's the big program. What have they done for us in Villa Park? Every time you're at a festival, every time you're at a parade, every time you're at a 5K, you'll see one of the explorers helping out, manning a corner, providing some service. In 2011, this group of explorers went to Joplin, Missouri to help with what they could when the tornadoes ravaged the area. In 2013, the group got together, did a little bit of fundraising, and replaced the floor in the USO at O'Hare Airport. So all the servicemen that come through that airport will have a nice, comfortable, clean place. This group took that on and made that their project. Lately in 2014, the explorers participated in 19 community events here in Villa Park, totaling 382 3/4 hours of donated time. They also assist us in our alcohol and tobacco compliance. Here we have someone that we've worked with. We can know we'll do the right thing, take them in to do our underage liquor checks. Works out perfect, gives them a little experience to do that as well. But the point of the evening was to recognize the young men, 4 young men here and 1 young woman who's moved to Texas. So she won't be here. But if I could please just present these certificates, and I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to ask them to come and get them. John Doyle. Josh, did Josh make it? No. Ah, he's late. Come on up here, John. Josh Preissel. Ilir Bateshi. Come on around the side here. And Nick Simons. Gentlemen, in appreciation of your volunteer time spent with the Villa Park Explorers, in furtherance of the service to our community and to the law enforcement profession, I want to thank you very much for your time. It was great having you guys. I got 2 of my former students from College of DuPage here. So, gentlemen, remember, always accept with the left, shake with the right. That's how
We're used to that. We're going to be doing a lot of it.
Thank you very much. Now, Yami Rosario moved to Texas on us, but I got her certificate, and I'm going to mail that out as quick as I can. Thank you very much for your indulgence.
Well, thank you. You know, I said before, and I'll keep saying it, we can't do what we do in large part because of our volunteers. We have so many volunteers throughout Villa Park that do so many different things. This is just another example of it. So really appreciate the engagement, and real nice to see this tonight. So thank you. Thanks again, you guys. Really appreciate everything. Okay, moving on to item number 5 on the committee of the whole, appointments to boards and commissions. We have 2 appointments tonight, Kellis Dodson and Matthew Adamczyk for the Summerfest Commission. So, like a motion on the appointments?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make the motion for their appointment.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Case?
second.
Okay. That will do a roll call vote on the appointments.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. All right. With this, I think we have both folks here with us tonight. We have also some members of our Summerfest Commission. They're gearing up for another Summerfest. It's going to be here before we know it. So yes, come on up, and our clerk, Hosanna Kornecki, will do the swearing in for you. So we just talked about the importance of volunteers. This is just another example. You know, our commissions are all volunteer-based, so we appreciate you stepping forward to help out with the Summerfest Commission.
Raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and to faithfully perform the duties
and faithfully perform the duties
as a member of
as a member of
Summerfest Commission
Summerfest Commission
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
All right, the pressure's on now. You have to plan a really good party for us, for the residents of Villa Park. And every year it happens. We know you're going to do it again. So I don't know, with that, since we're talking Summerfest really quick, we have members of the Summerfest Commission. Do you have any updates that you want to share? I'm kind of throwing it out there, put you on a little bit on the spot, but if you'd like to take a second. Had some folks ask some questions about what's going on, you know, what are the dates again?
First off, the date is June 19th, Friday evening, and Saturday the 20th. We are going to again support a car show on Friday night, the 19th, and along with some food vendors, live music, and the Chamber of Commerce beer tent. That'll be all Friday night, and then the children's activities will be on Saturday all day, along with live entertainment all day, and the support of the chamber as well, and the beer tent, and Friday night we'll have a bags tournament again. That was really successful last year. So we'll definitely have a great party. We just got to pray for good weather is what we
Yes.
really need all the support on. So last year we got some pretty strong storms, and the news, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was ABC mobile active weather station came out and broadcast, and actually it was really helpful that night because storms rolled in through the next day and all that. But we still had a great event last year despite the weather, so we're looking forward to this year.
Yeah, it
So.
blew over, thankfully, you know, I mean, even though it was towards the end of the night, people still stuck around afterwards.
Oh yeah. We kind of revived it a little bit there. The children's activities got cut short a little bit, but nonetheless we made a day of it. So
did a great job. So look forward to another one this
Yep,
year. So
we do
thank
too.
you so much.
Excuse, President Bowie, can he introduce himself? He
Oh,
never
sorry.
said his
My
name.
name is
Sorry,
Mike
thank
Getz,
you.
Yes.
Chairman of Summerfest Commission.
Thank you.
This is my 10th year supporting and volunteering with the commission, so are going on our 11th year of
Wow.
event.
How time
So,
flies.
yep.
Goodness. Okay,
All right.
great. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Okay, gonna move on then to item number 6, discussion regarding native landscaping. Manager Heath.
Thank you, Your Honor. Staff seeks direction from the village board on whether to move forward with an ordinance that will amend the property maintenance code, which would allow for the use of native landscape plantings on private property. And Your Honor, I believe there was a memo in each of your packets.
There was.
Additionally, I would like Director Grill to come forward and kind of explain a little bit about the memo and take us through some options, et cetera. Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure.
Good evening.
How are you?
Fine. And in your packet was a memo that was drafted based on information the staff had learned by contacting other communities that did have a native landscape ordinance. Most communities don't have one, but of the ones we did find, they were all fairly similar in the fact that they all required landscape plans, they all required an annual review, all required cutting. The major difference basically between the Lombard and Naperville ordinances and the Warrenville ordinance was the fact that the Warrenville ordinance requires a setback from property lines for that native landscaping, so that the native landscaping doesn't go right up to a owner's property line. And that's why staff is back again before you this evening, is because we need to know prior to drafting the ordinance whether you would like to see that setback or whether you don't want to see that setback. In addition, staff also would like to see that if we move forward with this, that a landscape plan be required and that a annual certified arborist come out and take a look at the yard to ensure that there are no noxious weeds that exist on the property and that it is continuing as a native landscaping without having any weeds in their yard. Additionally, we'd also like to see a sign placed in the yard so residents can see that this is a house that is a certified natural landscape and people don't think the owner's just not cutting his yard. And lastly, we'd like there be a requirement that they cut it on an annual basis. So with that, I'll open it up for discussion and questions that you might have.
Trustee Wagner?
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate the work that staff did on this. And you reference cutting back or burning, and I did talk with someone who's kind of an expert on this, and they did tell me it's not essential to burn back so I know if some of the board may be concerned about people lighting fires on their property, and but this is specifically in the community of Naperville. It's tightly controlled. You have to get a permit. You have to alert the fire department. You have to alert your neighbors what you're doing. But it's not essential. You don't have to burn, the native landscaped area. You can, as Director Grill said, you can cut it back. I mentioned this a couple meetings ago. I did attend a native landscaping workshop in Naperville, very well attended. In fact, it was, they had to kind of cut off the registration because they had well over 100 people. And I think this is more than just a fad. This is it's an environmental movement. And the benefits to the environment are in the memo. We've talked about it. And my preference would be to go with of the three options that we're presented with, my preference would be to go with option 2. It would be nice for us to kind of lead the way. Director Grill said that not a lot of communities have ordinances like this. I think there's provisions in here where, where the requirements are on the property owner to get it inspected, a certified arborist, et cetera. I think we can do this the right way, and kind of lead the way for other communities. So I'd be strongly in favor of going with option 2. And once again, just want to stress, it's not essential that you do a burn, but they do it in Naperville, and it's carefully regulated.
Okay. Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay, anybody else? Okay. Feedback on the memo? Any preference? Okay, 'cause the staff's needing a little bit of guidance, so we're gonna talk a little about this.
Well, I have
Trustee
I read
Bolfus.
over our current ordinance, and they're allowed to have native plants in defined beds right now. That's in the front yard. I assume we're just talking about front yards. Backyards is a different thing, you know?
No, the code says that you can't have any plantings greater than 6 inches anywhere in your yard. The reason why most people think it's just the front yard is because in most instances, we can't see the backyard. And if you have a site-proof fence, it's very difficult for staff to determine whether or not the grass back there is greater than 6 inches or not. But the staff envisions this ordinance applying to the entire yard.
Front
So-
and back, you mean?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we're allowed to have them in defined beds right now. And we see a number of houses around town who do. They look very, very good. Even the golf course has native plants around their facilities over there. It doesn't say anything in the code that between the beds it has to be grass, I don't believe. So it could be wood chips or decorative stones. And I think if you have it that way, you get, looks somewhat orderly. I like orderly things, you know. So I don't see any big reason why to change it myself. I haven't heard a good persuasive argument to make me want to think we should change the way the current ordinance is. You can have the native plants, keep them in a bed, keep it, you know, neat, and you don't have to have grass. One of the concerns was you don't have to mow. Well, you can work that out with wood chips and decorative stones and things like that. So I'm having a little trouble seeing why you didn't want to change it. So.
Anybody else? Okay. Trustee Ayala?
I'll just reiterate, I'm in favor with Al. I'm not real in favor of orderly things, but
Yes, you really did say that.
but I do agree with Al that
Trustee Ayala.
we don't need to spend the money on it. And I would recommend that we not pursue this. For what it's worth.
All right. So, anybody else on this end? Before I toss it back to Trustee Wagner? Okay, they're in deep thought, so
Okay.
Trustee Wagner.
I just want to address the issue of a tidy, an orderly yard. I mean, I think this does provide for it to be orderly, you know, if it's done properly. And it's too bad we don't have someone here maybe from the village of Lombard or Naperville to tell us about it, you know. I'm sure those communities have the same concerns that we do, and there are a number of people that do it and do it in a proper way. And I think we put a lot of the cost involved on the homeowner who wants to do this, you know, hiring an arborist, getting it, you know, having an inspection. I don't think there would be a great cost to the village. And I think that maybe at the beginning, not a lot of people, most people are going to say, I just want a turf lawn and that's all I want. But maybe, you know, as they see how this works in some of their neighbors, maybe they might be persuaded to do this as well. And, you know, there's always opportunities to tweak an ordinance to say, well, maybe we need to do this or that to make it more workable. So I just, with all due respect to Trustee Bolfus, I don't really think this is not an orderly, you know, I don't think we'd have a jungle if that's what your concerns are. I think, you know, I think it can be done the right way.
Okay, anybody else? Good. You guys are in deep thought. Do you have any opinions either way? Right now, we're kind of not quite there yet. Yes,
As long as there's a sign posted in the yard
you have said that.
saying that this is it.
I'm fine with it, but I'm not fine with the, well, I'll leave it at that. I won't get into the other part.
That would be that would be option 2 then.
Yeah. As long as they have a sign and it's checked. Because I have an issue with people that don't cut their grass.
A lot of people have issues with that.
Yeah. So I don't want it to go along with that part of it.
Okay. All right, Trustee Tags.
I'd be inclined to agree with option 2, as long as if the homeowner wants these plants and they're willing to go through the expense and the trouble of keeping it certified and having the proper signage, I don't think that I would have an issue with that. I do agree with Al and Bob to certain extents in different ways. I do like seeing the native plants in defined beds. To me, it looks a lot nicer, because it is hard to define what are native plants when it's just everywhere. Then it looks like, I think that's when people say, oh, that guy's yard is terrible, it looks like it's filled with weeds. So I think the defined beds make it look nice and orderly. And, I see it. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, option 2, just for the folks at home, there would be a landscaping plan required. It would have to be approved, so that would help with the wild west type of thing from hopefully occurring. Because, we do have issues with people who don't cut their lawns, let weeds go. And so, we just want to make sure that it does remain orderly and looks nice. And the fact that the resident would be taking on the burden of the cost associated with this as well. So really, what would be the cost to the village? That would be one of my questions.
With the exception of some staff time with myself and probably a code officer, no more than probably 10 hours a year.
Okay, so we're not talking something laborious,
No.
compared to what you have when you're driving around.
Not so long as we
lawns.
require the homeowner to be the one that gets the certified arborist to come out and submit
Right.
that to staff.
Right.
No, there wouldn't be a lot of staff time in that particular situation. And then so long as they comply, then there wouldn't be any additional property maintenance issues that our code inspectors would have to follow up on.
Okay. Well, I suspect if we go with item 2, and it sounds like we're leaning in that direction, option 2, that, the folks that would be wanting to do this are folks that probably know what they're doing to a certain extent anyway, because they'd have a pretty good idea. They may have a green thumb, maybe more than that. I don't know how many folks out there that would want to do it because they're curious. This might be for more serious folks that are into this, maybe not, I don't know, we'll see, but anyway, slice it, whether you're uber serious or just looking at doing something different with your yard. There's still a lot of requirements attached to this. I like the fact that it could help with our flood abatement issues that we have. It would help with the flooding piece of it, because we have an awful lot of water, and some folks have lakefront property, whether they like it or not. It's not necessarily their option. It's kind of what happens here in Villa Park. So I like the fact that it would actually help with the flooding situation that we have here as well, since it is going to be the whole yard, front and back. People are flooding in the front, people are flooding in the back, so that could also help. Every little bit helps. So, Trustee Ayala.
Just 2 things. Operative words from it not costing us anything is, as long as they comply. And when you said that, it perked my ears up, because I could just get rid of those guys back there with the badges on their chests and the guns on the side of their sidearms. Get rid of their sidearms too, because everyone will just comply. So it doesn't cost us anything until people don't comply, and then you've got to enforce things, and then it becomes expensive to enforce things. You need a judge, you need an attorney to enforce, to take forward the village's position, whatever it might be. You need someone to prove up the case, which is the arborist. Now we got to hire the arborist to bring him in to prove up that it's not being handled properly, or that they're even native plants to begin with. So, I think it's a little more complex than just we approve this ordinance and it's 10 hours of time a year. I don't think that's a fair assessment. Having said that, I think most people will comply. And for the most part, it won't be unusually expensive. I just don't want to add more expense to a fire department that's already overwhelmed with our budget. Not that it's overwhelming our fire department, they can handle it easily. It's just more time they've got to spend, more documents they've got to prepare, and it's time. And any time is money, and it's our money. So there's going to be some expense that's unanticipated, apparently, in my opinion. And the only other item I want to mention is, this seems to be being characterized as if we don't do this, you're not allowed to have native plants. You're already allowed to have native plants. We don't need this ordinance in order to allow you to have native plants. You already have that right. That's all I have. Thanks.
Just tightens it up a little bit more and formalizes it a little bit more. Trustee Wagner.
So I just want to, the point I'd like to make is that we're just giving staff the direction to prepare an ordinance. We're not approving an ordinance tonight.
Right.
And
Just
so.
giving them the direction.
And the final, the final would come when we get a finished product that we can vote on. So.
And ask additional questions and make changes and suggestions at that point too. So it may not be done at that point yet. We have to wait and see what eventually comes forward here, so. Trustee Gates?
Can we try it for 1 year? If we don't like it, then we go back.
Of course.
Sure.
Yeah. We can.
Simple.
Yep, we can change whatever we
I
want.
think honestly,
So-
we're wasting a little bit too much time on this subject. I think I call them a no-brainer. I know you guys don't like my no-brainers, but
All right.
1 year, we don't like it, we change it. I mean,
Trustee Bolfus?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We can, I won't be heartbroken if we go option 2, that's fine. You asked for what my preference was, I gave it to you. And, but we can always change
Absolutely.
it as it goes along, so.
Give it a try and see what
how it
happens, you know?
See if everybody complies.
Yep.
Yep.
A year should probably give us a good idea.
And
What-
that-
Okay.
Madam President,
Yes,
just one more
Trustee
comment
Tagliani.
to Trustee Allo's concern about possibly costing the village money in enforcement. I think any violations go through the local adjudication process, so if someone violates the rules, I think they're gonna be bearing the expense of that. So, that's it.
Okay, so, since everybody's pretty much weighed in, we're leaning towards the second option here. And I'd like to read that for the record because we haven't physically read it yet. It would be, a landscaping plan must be submitted to the Community Development Director. There are no setback requirements regarding where native planting can occur. Native plantings can occupy an entire front yard, and defined manicured beds are not required. After the landscaping plan is approved by the Community Development Director, a single annual required cutting or burning between the months of May and August to 10 inches is required. Any burnings are completed with the approval of the fire department with fire apparatus and personnel on hand, which is paid for by the resident. So, that's the direction we're going in now in terms of an ordinance, and then when it comes forward, we may want to tweak, we may want to add, we may want to subtract, but this will at least give the staff a direction here, so. Should we do a roll call vote on this, just to discuss, okay. So everybody good then? We'll nod then, since we're not really, just wanted to get on the record that this is clear, that, yes. We'll try number 2. Okay?
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you very much. Okay. Move on, still committee of the whole. Item number 7, consider an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the fiscal year 2015-2016 budget. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. The village's fiscal year 2015-2016 budget ordinance provides for the continued provision of village services as well as significant capital investment as discussed during the village's budget workshops held earlier this month. This is the first reading of the budget ordinance with ordinance adoption plan for April 13th, 2015. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Would you like our Director of Finance to step forward and give a brief overview
That would be
quickly?
great. Yes. Kevin Wachtel, our Director of Finance.
Hello again.
Hello.
So this is the second of 3 appearances tonight on the budget for fiscal 15-16. We've had a number of workshops and meetings to discuss the budget, so this is another one of the steps throughout the process. And again, as Manager Keenan mentioned, the adoption will take place in a few weeks at our next board meeting, April 13th. Before you tonight, on the dais, we put a list of, a summary of the changes that have been made since what was published in, or we put together in the budget, the proposed budget. And so those, we itemized those in a summary form. As you can see, there's not a lot of changes. The bottom line in the corporate fund, there still remains a surplus, a small surplus of about $8,000. So we did keep that in balance. There were other clarifications throughout the budget process, or throughout the budget, and some updates mostly to some capital spending throughout the organization and the various funds. And we will incorporate these. These are incorporated into the budget ordinance in terms of the dollars. We will update those pages. If you want your budget document updated, we certainly can remove those pages that were changed and put the new pages in there, or we can just provide you some summary information. We can do the same thing for the document that's downstairs and make the specific notes as to what the changes were and that type of thing. So those are some updates. Just let us know if you want a revised copy.
Personally, I would like, once we land on a final budget, so what we're looking at is what the folks at home are looking at, residents. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
once the budget is decided upon, this document will incorporate additional information. We'll rerun another version of this that will, instead of saying proposed budget, it will be a final adopted version that will be available for everybody. We'll make additional copies for that.
Yes. Like the new pages, so, okay. Alrighty. Okay, don't go too far. We're going to see if there's any other questions and comments from the public in regards to this item. Okay. All right, questions and comments from the board on this? No?
I have
Okay, trustee Bolfus.
We were going to get a note that's gonna go in the back of the budget in case the state cuts our local government share.
That's gonna be my question, too.
I haven't seen that.
Okay, yes.
Thank you, Crowner. Yes, my assistant is typing that up. You should have that by the end of the week that we can slip it in. And this is just the first reading, but you'll definitely have it by April 13th.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And this is in reference to a variety of cuts that our governor has proposed. In particular, the distributive funding, legislative distributive funding that we get in the form of sales tax rebates back to in our case, it could be upwards of 1.1 million, depending on where they end up landing. That's just a tentative number now. We're waiting to see what happens with that. We might know at the end of May. We might know in July. I'm told we may not know until maybe even the end of the year. So we're just kind of rolling with it, but you know, we'll have these other options in case we need to, you know, exercise an option or two when we know what we're dealing with. So, okay. Anybody else from the board? Any questions? No. All right. Roll call vote.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Aiello?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Okay. Item number 8, consider an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the number of Class B liquor licenses from 6 to 7. Andrew Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has received an application for a Class B liquor license from Ardmore Station Liquors Number 2 to be located at 323 South Ardmore Avenue. Ardmore Station Liquors Number 2 will be a retail location that will sell alcoholic liquor in the original package only and will not allow for consumption on the premises. Approval of this ordinance would increase the number of Class B liquor licenses from 6 to 7. The total number of liquor licenses allowed within the village would increase from 54 to 55. Police Department staff recommends approving the issuance of the Class B liquor license. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Any questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay. Questions and comments from the board? Okay. Basically, really quick, This is just a temporary increase, and once the sale of the business is final, then we'll go back and tweak our ordinance to reflect pretty much where we're at now, so 54. So it's a little bit of a formality here, so that's why we're doing this. Okay, roll call vote.
Okay. Trustee Taglio?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Aiello?
Abstain?
Trustee Bolfus?
No.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Okay. Moving on to item number 9 on the committee of the whole. Consider an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the regulations for solicitors and the registration fee for a solicitor's certificate of registration. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Our current code allows for door-to-door solicitation Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. with a valid village permit. The permit costs $25 and lasts for 30 days. Due to the increase in resident concerns surrounding door-to-door solicitors within the village, staff is proposing an increase in the cost of obtaining a permit, limiting the hours solicitors can operate within the village, and clarifying display of the certificate of registration on his or her person while soliciting. And Your Honor, I believe the proposed cost goes from 25 to 50, and the time period would be from 9 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. And the registration would have to be visible on the his or her person while they're soliciting. Thank you, Your Honor.
All righty.
Madam President, it also reduces the non-for-profit to $25.
Yes, that's correct.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Any questions or comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay. Hello. Haven't seen you in a little while. You know the drill. State your name. Okay, you're giving us your autograph there. Perfect. 3 minutes. In case there's other folks that have questions as well.
Okay, my name's Cheryl Tucker, 434 South Cornell. I know this is on the books before. I'm just elaborating the fact that we're raising the 25 to 50. The hour thing I have no problem with. But who are we really deterring by raising the $50? Because the college groups that come in from Chicago to sell the subscriptions, this has no effect to them. The church groups that knock on our doors door to door to hand the flyers, this has no effect on them. What it does have effect on is all our school organizations, all our kids that are 10 or older, that are the school groups that used to sell door to door to get their funds for their groups and organizations. Now we're forcing them, which we had this ordinance before, I understand that, forcing them to sell off of our shops outside their thing, because now they can't do it that way. The second part, attaining gifts and contribution money and stuff, I get most of that solicitation over the phone. I don't even get it door to door. People call me constantly asking for clothing, church items, other available things to be donated for benefit for this, this, and this. I mean, our Kiwanis Club can't go now, and whether they did it, Kiwanis, Lions, all our social events in the town can't possibly solicit to their neighbors or anyone else for their group activities. Now, if we're going to do this ruling on the stuff, I realize that's not the effect of the thing, but this ruling would affect all of them too, because needless as you're saying, by structuring it, I mean, if all those groups wanted to do it that way, you're telling them they can't sell it to their neighbors or people down their block by this ordinance, if they're going to follow it anyway in that way. Basically, the ComEd, the energy groups, they come in and do surveys in our village. Are we going to structure them to find it? They go from their survey, and from their survey, they try to sell you the product. Are we going to be able to have somebody follow them around to make sure the surveys that are coming through the town door to door, that we're following to make sure that's all they're doing? Because a lot of the groups are doing it that way and not. How are we going to monitor this?
Okay. Manager Keener, tap me on the shoulder. He's got some answers for you, I think. So.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yep.
The $50 isn't to deter anyone. The $50 is to cover the administrative costs to follow up the complaints that my office gets from solicitors going door to door that don't carry their permit, or they refuse to show it, or they don't have a permit. So the $50 covers staff time and police time, because when someone fills out a solicitor's application, the solicitor's application goes to the police department where they run background checks and do the verifications. Then it comes back to my office for my signature. So Aaron's involved at the front and the back end. And then when it's issued, if someone fails to show the permit, we get the calls. If they don't have a permit, we get the calls. If they come at 9:30 at night, we get the calls. So the $50 is for the administrative time. Wearing the badge itself is to stop the phone calls or emails that folks don't want to show it, or they don't have it. They have to have it on their bodies. And to follow up, there's no difference in the follow-up on this now as we do in the future. If they don't have it on their persons, they shouldn't be soliciting. And actually, quite frankly, folks at home and folks here and on the board, we've revoked the applications and the permits before for certain energy solicitors that would go door to door without a permit, or go at 8 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night. So it's a very difficult issue to work through, and it's very time consuming. And if folks don't want any solicitors, we do have downstairs in my office a no solicitors adhesive sticker that you can put on your door, and then you won't be receiving any people knocking on your door. But safety is another issue with this too, because when you go door to door, you should have a tag. And I haven't seen ComEd come door to door, and certainly if they did, they should be filling out a form so that our police department know who's in the neighborhood soliciting or walking around. It's very important. And I'm sure Chief Pavlicek can attest to that. It's very important to know who's in our neighborhoods going door to door. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Any other questions about this? Okay, toss it up to the board. Anyone on the board? Okay, Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to make sure I'm absolutely clear on this. If a Girl Scout troop wanted to go door to door and, try and sell Girl Scout cookies, we wouldn't require them to get this permit.
We always have.
Yeah. They have a not-for-profit.
We always have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I'm sorry.
That's okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Aaron. They'd have a not-for-profit. However, in the last 4 years, I don't recall Kiwanis, Rotary, Lions, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, anyone selling cookies or anything like that. It's mostly been energy, aggregation folks, and many of them.
Yeah, my experience is, especially Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts or whatever, church groups, they usually know their neighborhood. They know their neighbors. They know who's gonna patronize them, and so I guess I feel comfortable with this and understand the rationale. So that's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else from the board? Trustee Taglia.
I think it's especially important that solicitors get permits in our village, especially when it comes to seniors. A lot of scam type of crimes that are committed against people in our community are done by people who go door to door and purport to be certain representatives. So I try to tell my neighbors and everyone, they have to have a permit. If they don't have it, close the door. If they won't leave, call the police. So I think it's important that we have this permit process, and also having served as Cub Master with the Boy Scouts and my daughter being a Girl Scout, we don't have our kids go door to door selling anything. Mostly, like Trustee Wagner said, it's friends and family, people we know. So we definitely don't want our children going door to door selling things like that. So I don't think it would affect our not-for-profit kids groups. So I'm in favor of this ordinance. That's it.
Okay. Anybody else? Trustee Polfus.
Yeah, I don't have any trouble with this ordinance either. I'm just sorry that you know, I know the First Amendment rights allows these people to come and knock on the door and try to sell me magazines and the like. You know, sometimes I wonder why like the city of Chicago, when somebody wants to demonstrate, they have a right to do that, but they have to do it over here in a certain area. Why can't we have, okay, you can go around just like the solicitors, but you can only do it between 9 and 7:30. You know, they still have their right to do it, but they are somewhat being limited to when they can do it. So that's just, but this is fine. We don't want to jump on be a court case for the First Amendment, right? So. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Cost money.
Anything else?
No, Al said what I wanted to
Trustee
say.
Gates, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, well. We're all up here as a team, so, okay. All right.
It's all right.
Yeah. But my biggest complaints that I've received about this really quick is just how late we were allowing this. I mean, people knocking on your door at 9 o'clock at night. There were some concerned residents that approached me about this, so there's a combination of things that brought this forward, and tightening up the hours a little bit is probably not a bad idea. So you're still allowed to do it, just not until 9 o'clock at night. Okay, anybody else going once? Okay, roll call vote.
Okay, Trustee Case,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Aiello,
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus,
Yes.
Trustee Taglia,
Yes.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes. Okay, item number 10. It's gonna be the whole, I'm sure I don't lose my place here. Consider an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing the donation of personal property owned by the village. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. In August 2014, the village was awarded a FEMA Assistance to Firefighters AFG grant in the amount of $432,000 to replace engine number 80. One of the stipulations in accepting this grant is that fire engine 80 must be donated or scrapped. The Illinois Fire Service Institute, IFSI, was contacted and will accept the donation of fire engine 80 after the new engine is received to be used at their training facility in Champaign, Illinois. In exchange, IFSI is providing classroom time for members of the fire department at no charge. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay. Questions and comments from the board? I just want to double check. The delivery of the new fire engine is still on target for June? Is that right?
Yes.
June? Okay, great. Looking forward to that. All right, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Aiello,
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Taglia,
Yes.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes. Item number 11 on the Committee of the Whole. Consider an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving an antenna and equipment space lease. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. This ordinance approves an antenna and equipment space lease between the village and DUCOM at Fire Station 82 located at 102 West Plymouth. This will improve communication between Villa Park Fire Stations 81 and 82 and DUCOM. And Your Honor, recently we obtained a T1 line for both fire stations, and then this will be part further implementation of some equipment on our water tower to eliminate fuzzy calls and things of that nature. We're trying to move towards some different type of speakers, but this would be a great improvement for us. And of course, DUCOM is our 911 dispatcher center. If folks at home didn't realize that. So, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Come on up. Hi, Cheryl.
I just have a simple question.
Cheryl Tucker.
Did we not have that previously? Is this something new?
No,
Okay, so we've never had communication between the two stations before?
we have. It's improved now with the T1, and this will further improve linking all three.
How did
DUCOM,
we have it linked before?
We need to have you.
Through the phone?
Sorry.
Okay, through the phone system. I just want to know, is this an
Deputy Chief
improvement?
This is a
to-
big
improvement.
Big improvement,
Actually,
huh?
phone companies getting away from copper phone lines.
Okay,
That's the trend. That's why fire alarms are now required to have a radio instead of the copper phone lines. They can't transmit over to fiber optic. That's why we're going to a T1 line and microwave transmission.
Yeah, I can-
that's what I wanted to know.
Okay. Yes. So this is a good thing. Just gonna make it even better. And the antenna's going on top of the water tower. We already have some antenna up there, right? So it's gonna join the other ones. All right, anybody else from the public? Okay, how about the board?
Yeah, a couple quick ones.
Okay, trustee Bolfus.
Do we have to charge them any rent, even if it's $1? Like if, you know, I thought that was kind of a common thing yet.
Some consideration. That'd be for
Wanna answer?
Kathy.
Okay.
No, not necessarily, because it's consideration for the fact that, says there's rent to zero, and you don't have.
Okay.
Tradition is for $1, another good and valuable consideration, but it's practice more than anything required.
Yeah. And then secondly is, normally when somebody comes, this is our property, and they're leasing it, and they're coming on our property, and they're maintaining it, Ducom is, if someone gets hurt during the maintenance performance, this agreement doesn't hold us harmless of the liability if someone gets hurt when they're there doing their maintenance. Just a thought. I don't know if that's something we should have in there. Also, the same question will be on item number 12. Somebody comes on our property and something happens, they go up on the tower to do some maintenance and they fall off. Or do we have any liability exposure?
Oh, I saw something in here about that, but maybe not.
I didn't see it.
Attorney would like to.
The feeling between two governmental entities, and it is a governmental agency, is the fact that they would carry their own insurance and workers' comp, and they're obviously their employee. So it's not typical that governmental bodies indemnify each other in this regard. We can demand it, we can ask it, we can take it back, but I think everyone's adequately.
I'm just trying to protect the village, that's all.
Yes.
In case something
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
So, if I hear this right, it's not necessary in this
I think,
situation.
right, given the parties involved.
Okay.
And we would still be protected through what you just described.
Yeah.
We'd still have protection.
Right.
So,
Right.
okay. Anybody good? Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
President Bowie?
Yes. Item number 12, consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a First Amendment to a lease agreement by and between STC2 LLC and the Village of Villa Park. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Tongue twister there.
The village received a proposal to amend the cell tower lease agreement between the village and STC2 LLC for the property located at 729 North Ardmore Avenue. The amendment will allow expansion of the square footage of the lease site in return for an increased rental amount of $1,500 per month in addition to the existing fee of $21.82 for a totally monthly fee of $3,682.89. Staff recommends that the village president and board approve this resolution. And Your Honor, on an annual basis, the cell phone providers sell or transfer to us a certificate of liability, insurance liability on an annual basis that I forward to Janet Gorman and I stick in a file also.
All right. Okay. Questions and comments from the public with regards to this item? Okay. Questions and comments from the, okay. Trustee Ayello.
Three problems with this ordinance. One is, we're increasing their land space by about 80% of what they're already leasing. But we're only increasing their rent by about 60% of what they're already paying. In addition, we add a third party, so this is to facilitate this lessee to co-locate a third party. Co-locating a third party means that this tenant of ours is going to be able to go to another provider, earn money off of them as a subtenant of their own, and essentially pay for what they just paid us for. And that seems like an expansion of what the old lease indicated. Third thing was that the fact that they're not paying as much as I thought they should be paying. So increased land space, not paying enough money, adding a third party. I understand they can assign it out possibly under the existing lease, a little bit different from a sublease. So for those reasons, I don't like this First Amendment to this lease. Wouldn't want to approve it today. And I apologize for not mentioning this ahead of time. I just ran out of time to get that out today. Actually, email myself to remind me to email staff, but I forgot to do it anyway.
So, yes.
Thank
We
you, Your
have
Honor.
an answer for that.
When this item we've discussed before, the cell tower we do not own. We own the property, and the property is located near our salt dome. And the area in question is the expansion, I believe, of 825 square feet, which is what we own. I originally thought we owned the cell tower too, till I was corrected by the owners. They own the cell tower. And usually when you see these type of agreements, it limits the number of antennae they're put on there, but since it's their cell tower, it's unlimited basically. All we're leasing to is the 825 square feet for $1,500 a month. And Your Honor and board and folks at home, it also has a 5% escalator per year. And the 2182.89, that particular fee has been in existence for a number of years and gradually increased to the amount it is right now. And again, we don't own the tower, otherwise I'd be asking for a lot more and limiting the antennae, but we don't. We just have the 825 square feet. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, and I remember we had asked you to go for as much as you could possibly get for this. At least I know I did. I know a couple other people on board did too, so. This is the max we can go for based on the situation. So, anybody else on the board? Trustee, no?
Good.
Good? All right, roll call vote.
Trustee Yellow?
No.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bowinkle?
Yes. Excuse me. Item number 13 on the committee of the whole. Consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, establishing the fees for the village's swimming pools for 2015. Manager Keener, we have a couple of changes too that we're going to tell you about.
Thank you, Your Honor. Pool pass rates must be finalized by resolution and approved by the Village of Villa Park Board of Trustees. In an effort to increase the likelihood of achieving self-sustaining aquatic facilities, the village raised the season pass rates by 10% in each of the last 2 years. To that end, staff has been directed to raise the rates for 2015 by 10% also. The recommended rates are as follows. Now, folks, we have some changes. There's a typo. The resolution and the memo are correct, but the typo, and I'll kind of take you through this. So the typo for early bird discounted rates, the resident age 3 to 59 should be $51. The regular season rate should be $68. Non-resident ages 3 to 59, there is no early bird discounted rate, and then the regular season rate would be $94. Resident senior age 60 plus for the early bird discounted rate should be $46, and the regular season rate should be $61. Non-resident age 60 plus early bird discount is not applicable, and the regular season rate for the non-resident age 60 plus is $87. So but the daily admission rates are recommended to be $7 for residents 3 years and older, and $9 for non-residents ages 3 years and older. The evening discount rate will be $5 for residents and $7 for non-residents, and that begins at 5 p.m. each day. The daily admission rates recommended for 2015 are the same as they were in 2014 and are in line with what neighboring public pools are charging for daily admission. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, and we were just made aware of the updates today. I guess the published rates that we were provided were from last year, and in order for us to be able to properly maintain and operate the pools, we need to charge what it's going to take. And we've had a number of meetings here over the years. In fact, many years ago, I remember having, this place packed to the gills from residents that a number of them had said, we got to charge what we need to charge for maintaining the pools. So these are more in line with that. So these are right where we need to be. Let's toss it out to the public.
Okay.
Any questions or comments from the public in regards to this item? And then we do every year. Yeah. And then we do every year. Hi.
Diane Blair, Sherlock again, Summit Avenue. I'm just wondering, do you know approximately based on last year's sales, how much more income you anticipate with these increases?
I don't, but I can have our Assistant Director Gina come up.
There you go. Thank you.
All right. Hi, Gina.
I guess I'm the shortest.
We anticipate a revenue of $82,368 for season pass prices, which is an increase of $8,000 to $10,000, depending on how many sales we have.
We were pretty busy at the pools last year.
You know, weather plays a
Right.
big role with
Yeah.
that, so.
Well, we still were pretty busy. I mean, the weather was maybe a little more cooperative last year. Maybe you can tell me.
I'd like it to be hotter and drier than that. But that's
Maybe
al-
this year, we'll see.
That's always what I
You
like.
gotta clear the
so.
snow first,
Yeah,
you
well,
know. Get out of that.
hey, they're opening in 68 days, so that's.
We should be in the clear by then. Okay. Okay, great. Anybody else from the public? Okay, we'll toss it up to the board. Anybody on the board? We deal with this every year. You know? Okay, I know Manager Keener, I think, wanted to add something. Did you want to?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
I just wanted to remind the board and folks in the audience at home that within the proposed budget, which commences May 1st, there is, I believe, $50,000 in the capital fund to make pool improvements. Plus, we're taking a look at the parking lots to redo the parking lots, especially at Jefferson. So we do have money in the proposed budget, and increasing the rates will provide a little extra cushion as well. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, great. All right, that, we'll do roll call vote.
Trustee Bullfuss?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 14 on the committee of the whole, consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing a software license agreement between the Village of Villa Park and Environmental Systems Research Institute Incorporated for its 3-year Small Government Department Platform Program. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. The village uses Geographic Information System, otherwise known as GIS software, from Environmental Systems Research Institute, Inc., ESRA, to create, view, and analyze GIS data. ESRA has recently offered a new licensing model that makes all versions of their desktop and server software, as well as many extensions, available for unlimited use by a single department within a government organization. The Public Works Department is responsible for the creation and distribution of GIS data to the rest of the village. The annual cost is $10,000 per year with a 3-year term. By transitioning over to this new model, the village will save $18,255 over the course of the 3-year agreement. Staff recommends that the village transition to the new licensing. Funds have been budgeted in the street improvement, water, and wastewater funding accounts. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay. Questions and comments from the board? Okay. Roll call vote.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Trustee Bullfuss?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Item number 15, consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing acceptance of a proposal from Vermont Systems of Essex Junction, Vermont, and waiving the requirement of competitive bidding. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. The Parks and Recreation Department proposes to purchase new registration software and the associated hardware. Currently, the village owns and uses RecPro software by RC Systems. This software is out of date, is no longer capable of running certain everyday reports, and is not compatible with the village's financial software. Village staff requests authorization to purchase RecTrack software from Vermont Systems of Essex Junction, Vermont, for a total amount of $51,369, financed over a 3-year interest-free payment period. Year 1, the total cost would be $31,475. There are sufficient funds available in the fiscal year 2015-2016 budget in account 65-502-02-402 for this purchase. Year 2 and Year 3, the installment would be $9,947 each year. And Your Honor and Board, if I may, the particular software that we have right now is on its last leg. It's not compatible with our Civics financial software. The new software is much more cutting edge, that you'll be able to register for classes online, be able to pay with a credit card. So if you wanted to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and register for a class, you could. Additionally, the software also provides specific software for our pools, where you'll have a key fob similar to Thornton's, which is in Villa Park, Shop Villa Park, but you'll have something like this where you scan for your pool pass, which makes it a lot easier and more efficient. So I think with this software, we're moving forward in a very fiscally responsible, efficient manner. Thank you, Your Honor.
Just, if I can just throw in one more thing, since you were given an explanation. Why are we going with Essex Junction, Vermont, and why are we waiving the requirement of competitive bidding? That might be a question or two that we might have.
Because, Your Honor, this software has been tested by staff. Many of the facilities that staff is familiar with have this particular software, and it links with our financial software, which is very important to link with our Civics financial software.
Questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay, how about the board? Anybody on the board have any questions? Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, Madam President.
Yes.
Director Gola, at several different Park and Rec Advisory Commission meetings, he's talked about this and the needs for it and the benefits that are enumerated in the memo. And I think I'm correct in saying that the Park and Rec Advisory Commission was very supportive of this move. So I'm in favor as well.
Great. All right. Trustee Aiello.
Well, this is just curious. I want to approve this, but I'm curious, how do we waive our own ordinance? It's an ordinance requirement for competitive bidding, right?
Yes.
Okay, how do we waive it? We choose
More
it?
than a simple majority vote of
Majority
this
vote?
board, yes.
Interesting. I can do that in any ordinance?
You can do that on any purchase in excess of $20,000.
They do it on other ordinances?
No.
Why do you have something else
I'm
in
just
mind?
curious.
No.
I think everyone should.
Opens a whole world up. Okay. Chicken.
All right. Anybody else on the board? No? All right, roll call vote.
Trustee Taglia.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
Trustee Aiello.
Yes, on the advice of council.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes. Okay. Item number 16, consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing change order number 2, final, to the contract between the Village of Villa Park and A-Lamp Concrete Contractors Incorporated for the 2013 North Michigan Avenue Improvement Project. Manager Keener, there's some good news with this one.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has a contract with A-Lamp Concrete Contractors, Inc. of Schaumburg, Illinois, for the 2013 North Michigan Avenue Improvement Project. Proposed final change order number 2 consists of the final balancing of contract quantities as measured in the field. The net amount of this proposed final change order number 2 is a deduction of $51,710 for a revised final contract amount of $951,244.20. And because this change order is for an open project, staff is requesting formal action this evening. Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome. Questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay. Questions and comments from the board? Okay, yes. Just to clarify, you heard correctly. It's a deduction of $51,710. So sometimes we see change orders come around here that doesn't have a deduction. This one is. So, all right. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Taglia.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
Trustee Aiello.
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes. Item number 17. We're almost there. Still in this committee of the whole. Consider resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing the joint purchase of bulk salt, rock salt, through the state of Illinois Central Management Services Bureau of Strategic Sourcing. Manager Clinton.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village annually purchases rock salt through an agreement with the Illinois Department of Central Management Services, otherwise known as CMS. The state of Illinois generally receives favorable prices because of the large quantity of salt that it purchases. The village must submit its rock salt needs through a contract with the state of Illinois by March 27, 2015. Village staff recommends entering into a contract with the state of Illinois for 500 tons of bulk rock salt. $100,000 is proposed for fiscal year 2015-16 in Street Division account 10-525-27-341 for this purpose. Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, thank you. Questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay. Questions and comments from the board? I just have a quick question. Drilling it down, if I did my math correctly, would this be right around $200 per ton? Is that how much is it per?
No, I hope not.
Yeah, that's what
Should be
I'm
around
hoping to,
74,
too.
75.
That's what I wanted to double check, because I didn't trust my math on this one.
This year, we're splitting our purchase between the state and DuPage County, so this is half of our needs.
Okay, so how much is that?
It's about $100 a ton.
Okay, good.
But we're hoping to get down to 70, which is
Good.
what our county price was
Even
last
better.
year.
I was hoping you were going to tell me that. Okay. Sure. Manager Keener would like to expand on that.
Thank you, Your Honor. And for the board and folks here and folks at home, we usually try to keep a year-and-a-half supply of rock salt on hand at any one given time. And so by purchasing this quantity and a quantity through DuPage County, we'll keep our on-hand rock salt supply at about a year-and-a-half supply, including the usage we had today. And hopefully that's the last time for this fiscal year. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else on the board? One more time? No? Okay. Roll call vote.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Okay. Finally, we're going to convene to the formal agenda. I knew we were going to get there sooner or later. Thanks for hanging in there with us. All right. Item number 1 on the formal is Village President's Report. A proclamation declaring April 12th through the 18th, 2015 as National Library Week. Whereas libraries create potential and possibilities within their communities, campuses, and schools. Whereas libraries level the playing field for all who seek information and access to technologies. Whereas libraries continuously grow and evolve in how they provide for the needs of every member of their communities. Whereas libraries and librarians open up a world of possibilities through innovative STEAM programming, makerspaces, job-seeking resources, and the power of reading. Whereas librarians are trained, tech-savvy professionals providing technology training and access to downloadable content like ebooks. Whereas libraries support democracy and affect social change through their commitment to provide equitable access to information for all library users, regardless of age, race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. Whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Now therefore, be it resolved that I, Deborah Bullwinkle, Village President of the Village of Villa Park, proclaim National Library Week, April 12th through the 18th, 2015. I encourage all residents to visit the library this week, to take advantage, and all weeks for that matter, take advantage of the wonderful library resources available at your library. Dated this day, Monday, March 23rd, 2015. And I see we have our library director here, Sandy Hill. Would you like to share anything else really quick about this particular event and anything else you have going on at the library?
Thank you very much. Just wanted to say hi.
Hi.
It's going to be a very fun and active April. We have our tea time fundraiser, April 11th and 12th, so everybody's welcome to come and play miniature golf in the library.
It's a blast.
It should be fun, yes. And then I just wanted to mention a couple special programs. We have a program co-sponsored by the Villa Park Environmental Concerns Commission, and that's Wednesday, April 15th, and it's entitled Worms, Eat My Garbage. So it's going to be a good program, and it shows you how to compost, et cetera, et cetera. So we need people to register for this program. We're going to have somebody out, and they're going to actually create the compost bin for you. So we've got that going. Saturday, April 25th, we have a program for our youth services department, and it's called Let's Build a Kite. And Whitney Richardson of the Kite Collective will show us how to build beautiful kites out of recycled materials. Donna Kane from In Town on Tuesday, April 21st will be out, and that's Money Smart Week. So she's going to talk to us about living wills, probate, and estate taxes, so that's great. You're all invited to the Saturday, April 25th poetry reading. Everybody kind of grimaces when they hear about poetry, but it's a fun evening, and I would welcome all of you to attend. So just some sampling of what we're going to be doing in April. I'm looking forward to April because of the weather. So it should be nice and warm, so come out to the library and discover your possibilities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, just a couple other little reminders and whatnot. You all have probably heard, if you haven't heard already, you will right now. Yard waste and brush pickup begins the first full week of April, which according to my calendar begins the week of April 6th, and it will go through November 30th. However, I have asked staff to consider, because I have received some feedback from residents in regards to the November 30th date, extending that a week or two, at least beyond Thanksgiving, so folks that are home would like to use that extra time and that extra week to kind of clean up any extra brush that they might have. So I was just wondering how that was going, and if that is a possibility.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, I have reached out to our refuge company. They're taking a look at it. What traditionally happens is that after November 30th, if it snows, the area where they deposit all the brush and et cetera is closed. So we're taking a look how we can work around that. So hopefully by the end of the week I'll have some good news.
Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate you looking into that. Really do. In regards to, there's some announcements that are on our website, invillapark.com, but one in particular, there's disaster assistance available to remove mold caused by the April 2013 flood, I should say, which was also a disaster. Residents with mold caused by the flooding in April 2013, in our case, April 18th is the famous day when we got, how many inches of rain that day? Way lot, 19, almost 20 inches of rain, probably more than that. It was bad. You can qualify for assistance from DuPage County. Federal disaster assistance may be available to remove mold or repair damage at no cost to residents whose insurance did not resolve this issue. There's various eligibility levels for folks, depending on how many folks live in your home and whatnot. But there's a couple information meetings coming up, 6 p.m. Wednesday, March 25th at the Winfield Public Library, or 1 p.m. Wednesday, April 8th at the Downers Grove Public Library. If you'd like more information about the program, certainly give the folks a call at 630-395-9011. Take a look at that and see, you never know, but there is some assistance potentially available to you on that. Also, just wanted to kind of circle back to, I've been seeing more and more in the news about these safe haven programs that municipalities are setting up, where they're partnering with their local police department to find safe places to go to do an exchange if you happen to buy items online through Craigslist and other online sales, I guess, sites, if you will. So just wondering if we've had a chance to kind of look at, I know it's a coordinated effort and there's a lot that we need to consider on this, so I was just wondering if we've given any more thought to that here in Villa Park.
Is that directed to me?
It's you, or I'm
Thank
looking
you,
at
Your
our police chief standing in the back too, either or. Just wondering if there's anything else.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, Chief Pavlicek and myself have been discussing the safe haven, and we're currently thinking about using the police department vestibule. It's kind of a wide open area, and central in Villa Park, easy to get to, et cetera, et cetera. So we're in discussions about using that particular area. Nothing's formalized yet, but that's what we're looking at.
Yeah. And the vestibule is outside, or you're talking inside the lobby area?
Basically, Your Honor, if they would like to come in, there's plenty of area, or if they feel safe of conducting the transaction in front of the police department, that would be fine also.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. Yeah, the police department would certainly be, I think, a very safe place to go. So thank you for considering that. I've had a number of residents ask me about that too, so why not? A lot of municipalities, Naperville being one of many that are doing this, so it's an interesting concept, so thank you for considering that, I really do appreciate that. Really do.
Shop at Walmart on 83, you don't have to come to the police.
This isn't for shop, yes, this is Craigslist and other, online transactions like that. But nonetheless, thank you for looking into it. Also, wanted to mention that, going back to Parks and Recreation, they actually have some summer jobs available pretty much every year. You can probably find a job with Parks and Rec Department. We have, looks like there's applications right now available for lifeguards, pool ambassadors, cashiers, and water slide deck attendants for Jefferson and Lufkin pools. So if you're interested in picking up an application, go to the Iowa Community Center. If you have any other questions, you can call 630-834-8970 or email the staff at recreation.staff@invillapark.com. So if you're looking for a job this summer, why not help out at the pools? Get a little bit of sun, a little bit of fun, all that good stuff. Also wanted to mention that my counterpart in Lombard, President Keith Gennario, has challenged me to a duel, if you will. It's the Battle of the Mayors event to raise funds for the Tri-Town YMCA youth programs and services. Basically, any tips that are raised during, we're doing a shift. I'm going to be at Crazy Pour. My husband and I will be there. And they're going to do a shift at Rock Bottom. And it's basically going to be all about who can raise the most funds for this particular program for Tri-Town YMCA. And I couldn't resist the opportunity to challenge, the challenge that was brought forward by my counterpart, President Gennario. So if he's watching tonight, and have your hands full on this one. So I'm very happy to accept that challenge, and I hope that residents of Villa Park come out to Crazy Pour on North Avenue on Sunday, April 12th. That's when we're doing our fundraising event from 4 to 7 p.m. And you can come, grab a bite to eat, have a drink if you want, just hang out. All the tips that are raised that day will go towards the Tri-Town YMCA youth program. So it was a nice little challenge, and I'm looking forward to having the best president win. So, all right. It's going to be Villa Park, so we'll all come together on that day and help each other out. So, and then my final announcement is just a reminder that our next Coffee with the Board is, believe it or not, Saturday, April 4th, 9 o'clock here at Village Hall. It's hard to believe we're talking about April, but our next board meeting won't be until Monday, April 13th, so got to get it out there. So if you all have anything on your mind, you can certainly come out and see us. We're here the first Saturday of every month. So, all right. With that ends my report. So item number 2 is public comments on agenda items. This is regarding items 4 and 5 on the formal agenda. So if you have anything on your mind in regards to agenda items 4 and 5 on the formal, now's your chance to come to the podium and share with us what's on your mind. Otherwise, okay, seeing none. You have an opportunity to speak on non-agenda items, item number 6 on the agenda. On the agenda. So, okay. Moving on, item number 3, amendments to the agenda. Does anybody have any amendments to the formal? Yes. Trustee Aiello.
I'd like to ask to amend the consent agenda to remove item 4E,
4E?
based on a professional conflict, and item 4H based on my disagreement with it passing through.
Okay. E?
The committee of the whole.
Yes. E and H. Okay. So I'll put a motion out there, so,
That's the motion.
okay. So we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, Trustee Bolfus. And we'll do a roll call vote on removing these, and then we'll go back and approve the consent agenda minus E and H. We'll do the removal first.
Okay. Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
President Bowinkle?
Yes. Okay, now we'll go back and we'll do a motion for the amended consent agenda minus letter E and letter H. Can we do that?
Madam President, I think you want to vote on E because there's an abstention that is
Okay.
recognized due to a conflict.
Okay.
And I think H is a different issue. It's a yes or no vote.
Oh, okay, so
take
we,
E first.
All right, so we'll do the removal of each one separately. So, motion to remove.
No, to approve.
To approve letter E.
Right.
Letter E?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to approve letter E.
Madam President, make a motion to approve letter E.
Okay, do I have a second?
Madam President,
Okay, trustee Taglia.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Should we do a roll call vote on that one too? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote.
Okay, Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Ayello?
That's me.
Trustee Bullfuss?
No.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Okay, now we'll do the same for letter H.
And H, motion
To, okay,
to approve.
same motion, letter H.
Madam President,
Okay, trustee
make a
Bullfuss.
motion for approve, for letter H on the consent agenda.
Okay. Second?
Madam President,
Okay, trustee Wagner.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we'll do a roll call vote on that one.
Okay, Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Ayello?
No.
Trustee Bullfuss?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Okay, when I read them, I'll go the whole thing, including E and H. So they're good. Okay. All right. Now, item number 4 on the formal, consent agenda, A through M. I'm just going to read the headings for the record here. I'm going to include the headings that we just did our thing up here about. Okay, letter A, bill listing dated March 23rd, 2015, in the amount of $686,447. B, minutes from village COW meeting for March 9th, 2015. C, minutes from the village formal board meeting for March 9th, 2015. D, first and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the regulations for solicitors and the registration fee for a solicitor's certificate of registration. E, first and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of...
No, no. Not E, F.
It's a, okay, so I don't read, okay, all right. I was clarifying that earlier, but yep, I'll move on. Letter F, sorry about that. First and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing the donation of personal property owned by the village. G, first and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving an antenna and equipment space lease. And I, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, establishing the fees for the village's swimming pools for 2015. And J, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing a software license agreement between the Village of Villa Park and Environmental Systems Research Institute, Incorporated, for its 3-year small government department platform program. K, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing acceptance of a proposal from Vermont Systems of Essex Junction, Vermont, and waiving the requirement of competitive bidding. L, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing change order number 2, which is final, for the contract between the Village of Villa Park and A-Lamp Concrete Contractors Incorporated for the 2013 North Michigan Avenue Improvement Project. And letter M, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing the joint purchase of bulk rock salt through the State of Illinois Central Management Services Bureau of Strategic Sourcing. Motion on the consent agenda is read.
Madam President,
Trustee Ayala.
move to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second? Anybody?
Madam President.
Trustee Case?
Second.
Okay. All right, roll call vote on that.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Trustee Bullfuss?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Okay, yes, okay. Item number 5, formal agenda. First reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving the fiscal year 2015-2016 budget. The village's fiscal year 2015-2016 budget ordinance provides for the continued provision of village services as well as significant capital investment as discussed during the village's budget workshops held earlier this month. This is the first reading of the budget ordinance with ordinance adoption planned for April 13th, 2015, which is our next board meeting. Motion on the first reading?
Madam President,
Trustee Taglia?
I'll move for the first reading.
Okay, do I have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any other additional questions, comments from the board here? Nope, all right. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
Trustee Bullfuss?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Okay, item number 6, public comments on non-agenda items. This is your opportunity to approach the podium on non-agenda items. Anybody? All right, come on up. We got 3 minutes for you.
Oh, it won't take that long.
That's okay, still have 3 minutes.
There you go.
Okay.
Hi, Diane Blair, Sherlock. It's that time of year again. April 25th is the Prairie Path Cleanup. And this year we have a bonus. We got these really neat backpacks for the first, I don't know how many till we run out, people that come for the Prairie Path Cleanup. As usual, we will be meeting everybody from 9 to 12 at the museum, the old train station on Villa Avenue, and we hope to have a good turnout, and we hope
usually
that
do.
it's not snowing.
Will not. No S words.
No,
Yes.
listen.
So hopefully by April 25th, we won't have any snow. Again, that's from 9 to 12. There should be something up on inboldpark.com by then, and we hope to see everybody there.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a great event. A lot of people come together, and we've had decent weather the last few years, if I remember correctly. You know, jacket weather, but not coat weather. So we'll keep it up here. So, all right. Anybody else on non-agenda items? Okay.
Good evening.
Hi.
I'll make my comments short since I know that you're continuing to work on the landscaping motion. My name is Ben Calvert. I'm at 31 North Harvard Avenue. And I do truly appreciate all the work that the village has been doing on this issue. As you might have heard recently in the news with California, they're estimating that they have a 1-year supply of water. And so by working on our native landscaping here in Illinois, we might not benefit California, but we're going to be benefiting our environment here for the future. And I would suggest that we not wait to the last minute that California has. That's not good governance, in my opinion. As humble as it may be, I'm sorry. I wasn't as prepared for this meeting as I would like to be. I apologize for that. Mr. Grell, I thank you very much for your involvement as well. A couple things on the proposed, the second proposal. I tried to write the notes, but in the terms of cutting down the natives, I thought I heard May through, the time frame for cutting should be the fall through May for native plants.
Okay.
So that would be one thing. That wording should be specific, because that timing is the best
Okay.
to benefit the native plants.
I see some notes are being made. All right.
And then the other question I had was about defined beds. Trustee Belfus, you said we're spending a lot of time on this, and I agree. And the reason I came to the board for this on this issue is because of some of the nebulousness of our code. Now, Trustee Aiello in the last meeting asked about the defined beds, and from my recollection, I didn't think that there was in our code a defined bed clause, but I can look at that up again. But if there isn't, then that becomes who is going to judge on the defined beds or the not defined beds in someone's yard. So I think there, and another reason why I came forward was that the milkweed is specifically called out in our code as a nuisance. And if that's being called out, what other native plants that people aren't recognizing would be called out as a nuisance? And that I just wanted some clarification, some protection for the homeowners that are trying to do something good for our environment. There's that. And also the stormwater issue. I've been going to all kinds of meetings. I went to Glen Ellen last week, actually, where the county was doing, promoting planting natives. For my time, so thank you very much.
All right. We've made notes of what you've asked, and we'll take a closer look at that. Now's the time to do it. So, thank you for that. All right. Anybody else in the public? All righty then. We're going to toss it up to item number 7, Village Clerk's report.
Oh, no report today, thank you.
Item number 8, Village Trustees report. I'll start to my right tonight. Trustee Bolfus, have anything for us tonight?
No.
No? Okay. Okay. Trustee Taglia?
Just a couple of quick things. I want to say thank you to residents of Villa Park for making Troop 242's spaghetti dinner a huge success Saturday night at the VFW. So thanks to everyone who came out. Thanks to the boys. You guys did a great job. I'm very proud of you.
It's delicious.
Also, thanks. Remember to come out to the posters tonight for wings and Friday for the fish fry. That's it.
All right. Thank you. Trustee Case.
Nothing tonight.
Okay. Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to let the members of the public know that the Environmental Concerns Commission will be meeting this coming Thursday here at Village Hall at 7:15. And just a question, I guess, for the village manager. We, some months ago, we approved the energy efficient lighting for street lamps. And as I was driving here, I noticed a street lamp that was particularly well illuminated. And I just wanted to verify that we have started that project.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, two things are happening right now. ComEd is testing out 13 lamp posts on Ardmore. They're changing them out. And then our installer is changing out our lamp heads to the LED. So, and that started last week. So you will see different lamp heads throughout the village now. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Prairie Path is probably close to being done. So.
And I just had a question for Director Hill. That composting workshop is, what's the number of people that can participate?
Yeah, we'll
25.
25? Okay.
That's all I had.
25, okay. Thank you. All right, Trustee Ayala?
I just have one thing. If anyone out there knows how to contact the Lufkin family. Lufkin family is the family that donated the land that the Lufkin pool is on. We need to contact them. So if anyone's got contact information, get it to the staff, give it to myself, village president, or anybody else, Manager Keener, mostly Manager Keener. Take this on it.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
No.
No? Oh. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Village Manager's report.
Your Honor, I'm passing this evening.
You're passing this week. Okay. Village Attorney's report. Okay. That's item number 10. Moving on to item number 11. Consider executive session. A, 5 ILCS 120-2, C1, personnel matters and collective bargaining. B, 5 ILCS 120-2, C5, purchase or lease of property. C, 5 ILCS 120-2, C6, sale or lease of property. D, 5 ILCS 120-2, C11, pending litigation. E, 5 ILCS 120-2, C21, discussion of closed session minutes. F, 5 ILCS 120-2, C28, meetings between internal or external auditors and governmental audit committees, finance committees, and their equivalents. Motion to convene to exec session.
Madam President,
Trustee Ayala.
move for executive session.
Okay, do I have a second?
Madam President.
Trustee Bolfus.
Second.
Okay, do a roll call vote on this.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Taglia?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Ayello?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. All right, we're going to go into executive session now. We will adjourn following exec session. Our next board meeting will be Monday, April 13th, 2015, 7:30 here at Village Hall. Thank you, Villa Park.